Our conference today is the future of autonomous vehicles. Industry experts will sharing their insights and trends and development of theme of today. Here's come to the first section today, autonomous vehicles, piloted driving, connected vehicles. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please give a big clap to our first speaker, Mr. Rene Koneberg, Managing Director, Audi Hong Kong. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Welcome. Good afternoon. I will present to you today what and how Audi is seeing actually the future of autonomous drive. And as Francis said, it's right. If you look at it, everybody, the automotive industry is changing. And that will be a big change within the next 5 to 10 years. Everybody is working in the automotive industry on piloted drive, autonomous drive. All the German manufacturers, the American manufacturers, everybody set up their R&D center. We set up our R&D center in China, in Beijing, and we have an R&D center in America and obviously in Germany. Let me show you a little bit more what Audi has done in the past and where we are at the moment. So I brought a small video with me. Please enjoy.
In 2009, Audi was the first manufacturer to test piloted driving in the desert. Far away from civilization, an Audi TTS drove over the Bonneville Salt Flats and reached a world speed record for piloted driving of 130 miles per hour. Driving autonomously, the TTS mastered the legendary Pikes Peak hill climb in 2010. The Audi completed the 12-mile climb with 156 bends in around 27 minutes. The top speed was about 45 miles per hour. Using GPS, the Audi was able to determine its position down to 2 centimeters. In 2013, Audi became the first car manufacturer in the world to receive a license from the Nevada Department of Motor Vehicles to test autonomous vehicles. Audi presented its vision of piloted driving, demonstrating it in traffic congestion and when parking. In the future, thanks to piloted driving from Audi, the car can easily be maneuvered into the garage or a tight parking space from the outside using the remote control key or a smartphone. Now it's time for series production. When in 2013 Audi was still at the preliminary development stage, the computing equipment needed filled the car's entire luggage compartment. Now this technology is as small as a laptop and goes by the name of ZFAS. All functions, one unit. The processors on the ZFAS board achieve a total computing output equivalent to the complete electronic architecture of a current Audi A4. All functions are controlled by ZFAS to make piloted driving possible. Up to 12 ultrasonic sensors scan the close environment of the vehicle. The front radar detects objects up to a distance of 250 meters ahead of the car. The rear radar sensors monitor the traffic behind. The top view cameras work together with the ultrasonic sensors, for example, when the car parks piloted. For the first time, a laser scanner delivers highly accurate data up to a distance of 80 meters. The front camera, with a wide angle, recognizes the lane markings, as well as pedestrians and objects. By combining these sensors, the ZFAS enables the piloted driving. The vehicle always knows exactly what is happening around it. Piloted driving. The future is now. Audi is continuing to extend its lead and is already using series production technology.
So that gave you just a quick glance where we stand at the moment from the Audi perspective. But what you see here is actually other technologies are already used in other industries. If you look at mining, automatic mining, this is an ideal environment. It's an enclosed environment, And you can save up to, and I wrote it down, a lot of costs are actually being used for ventilation. So therefore you could save some costs, a third actually you could save. If you look at automatic platooning, there are also studies already around. People are actually working already with it. And fuel consumption can go down, CO2 levels are going down, and obviously one big part is the driver's salary. Yeah? A third of the costs are always the driver's salary. So if you take him out, then yeah, you get a more efficient model. Then automated public transport. There are also technology already up there, which is being used and tested. And part of it, in this case, it's actually half of the OPEX you could save concerning the driver costs. So these are all other industries which are using already these technologies. Now, let's go a little bit backwards and look into the different areas. You have different environments. Let's say in the US, for example, you have very wide roads, which is important, and you have a speed limit, and you have moderate speeds, which is also important. So adopting a technology in America would be relatively easy. If you look at Europe, we have a very good infrastructure concerning streets, but obviously we have top speeds of around about 320, 330 kilometers. So you need to have the technology behind it. So it gets already a little bit more complex. Going into China, I lived 4 years in Beijing, and we call it actually in China, the traffic is a swarm technology. Yeah, so if you want to cross the streets, the vehicles are going actually surrounding you. So this has a completely different habit. So that means for us as a manufacturer, if you want to have autonomous drive implemented in these different countries, it will have a different, we have to look at it in a completely different way. The other part is, what does the consumer want? Consumer in America and in Germany, 58% are saying, yes, we are willingness to have or to buy an autonomous car. In China, nearly everybody saying, yes, no problem, I will sit in the car. If the car is running by itself, great, I would buy the car. So difference between the customer behavior. So coming also towards the different levels, a lot of people are talking about autonomous drive. What is autonomous drive in our point of view? We started, and a lot of technology has been implemented here, level 1 and level 2, we call it, partly automated. These are systems, if you are on the motorway, for example, that the car automatically brakes as a distance recognition when you drive. So these are all lane assist, for example. These are all systems which are in the car. The interesting part is the driver has the responsibility. The driver is always responsible for driving the car. Now, we are here. At today's level, we come to the next phase. The next phase is level 3, how we call it. Level 3 means actually that the vehicle takes control in a confined surrounding or environment. That means, in this case, and that's quite important, the liability goes from the driver to the manufacturer. So we would be in future responsible if an accident is happening. So there's a complete shift. A confined environment would be, for example, if you are on the motorway and the car is actually driving from here, let's say, to the airport, and that would be a confined environment. We will bring out a technology this year which actually make this lab into the next phase to level 3. We will introduce level 3 into a production car this year. The next phase, level 4, is automated. That means you would bring your vehicle into a garage and it will park itself completely. So no people involved anymore, the car would drive by itself. The final way would be then a robo-taxi, and we have somebody here from Uber later. Probably he will tell us also a little bit more. That's then really the full way of autonomous drive. Two things, major things, which are actually at the moment where we are working very hard with the government. One is the regulations. We have all different regulations in all the different countries. The second part is liability is with us. So if you would drive in an Audi in future and you are at level 3 to 5, and there's an accident happening, we would be reliable for it. Concerning regulations, I just brought kind of like the three major parts with me, like Europe, America, and China. In principle, what will come in 2017 to 2020 is actually that in America we would have to implement a black box. A black box, you would know from aeroplanes, for example, all the data will be stored in the car to ensure that you see actually what's happening if there is an accident, for example. Concerning in the EU, there will be automatic emergency calls implemented. So in principle, the government is now in different areas putting the regulations into place that we can bring the technology into the market. Looking from 2020 onwards, looking at China, I said before, it's quite a complex environment. At the moment, I would see that America is pushing forward with the regulations. Europe is a little bit in the back, and then in China, you would see China is actually just waiting what's happening in America and in Europe. But that's the regulation. So we need to have the regulations in place that we can bring our technology into the market. Now, I said before, robotaxi, that's maybe the future also. So we ask customers in US, Germany, and China, it comes from Roland Berger actually. Interestingly, 50% of all Chinese customers would say, I would rather sit in a robo-cab than buying a new car. Otherwise, in America and in Germany, not a huge big difference. So you see here also that consumers behave differently in different countries. Looking also at the price, what is happening, and this has a huge big impact also socially in the different countries. We put a study together concerning the prices if you travel or use transportation today. So you see a normal taxi and an Uber taxi. Uber is a little bit lower priced. If you have in future a robo-cab, you would be actually down here in pricing. What would mean would be, and just think the implications, that would mean actually that there will be a lot of people probably unemployed in future because all the taxi drivers will not be there anymore, which we don't want. But these are the implications. So the technology is there, regulation needs to be coming, and also we need to look into the social impact which is happening maybe in the future. Now, how do we come from, and I said before, level 3, Audi is bringing out level 3, how do we come from level 3 to level 5? We presented already at the motor show a level 5 concept, but I brought with me the level 3 concept. Level 3 concept we implemented already, and I will show you now a little bit more how this level 3 concept works.
Absolutely away, the first piloted car here at the Hockenheim Ring with Audi. This RS7 accelerates now towards the Nord curve of turn 1. You can see that, look, it's being steered by nobody. It's being controlled by the intelligence. A great line through turn 1, heading up now towards turn 2. Just look at the speed. We're approaching 180 kilometers an hour as we go into turn 2. Brilliant braking, all assured and controlled. You can hear the 560 horsepower being unleashed through 3 and 4, and now it's the Parabolica. As the tens of thousands of fans here witness history in the making from Audi piloted driving. This is a fantastic shot from our helicopter that is tracking the car. Now, this is going to be crucial. Heavy braking as the car reaches 220 kilometers an hour and brakes now for the hairpin. Brilliant line through the hairpin, measured, controlled, accurate, precise, and then the acceleration out of the hairpin as we head down towards turn 7 now. This is Bobby, and it's Bobby completely on its own with no driver in there, looking very assured and very comfortable. All the fans in the grandstand can hardly believe what they are seeing right now. This car is being driven by technology, by intelligence, and look at that line as it's straight through. Turns 9 and 10 absolutely perfectly, taking exactly the optimum line that you would expect a top racing driver to take. Heading down now towards turn 11, turns in, And now this, the Sachs turn, where racing drivers choose different lines. Now, Bobby here, choosing to hug the inside there, just a little bit of curb, unleashes the power once again. We have turn 13 and 14 to do before a lap at racing speed is completed by a piloted car. This has been absolutely perfect. Not 1 foot wrong. It has been precise as it heads towards the start-finish line. The absolute optimum lap as the car comes to a stop now. That was truly awesome. You won't get it parking in P1 any better than that. Absolutely spot on accurate, absolutely spot on precise, and so quick as well.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you see what technology is out there, what we can do already. This car, we call it Bobby, was on top speed in all the corners, and even actually we had a show where we had all our dealers coming, and they were actually sitting in the car and experienced this technology. So how does it work? We have in the car all the different sensors. You saw it before in the video. The central part is obviously that all the information are filled together, and then that the software is understanding what's happening. So we call, and I said it before, we will bring out a traffic jam pilot this year with one of our vehicles which we are launching. Now, just to show you a little bit the complexity we are working with, in level 1 and 2, you have a couple of radars, you have a couple of sensors inside, so this is a very, very simple process. Level 3 already, you need to have 2 systems in the car. That means if one system is failing, you need to have a backup system. Additionally, you need to have much, much more sensors in the car, obviously. And you see here already the complexity of how the vehicle needs to be adapted to understand what is happening in the surroundings. Level 5, we are talking then about integration of artificial intelligence. This is really where you see the future is going. But as I said, level 3 is something which we are actually implementing. Now, who's working on it? Obviously, we cannot do it by ourselves. We have, and we will have, a lot of partners. There are also a lot of companies obviously working on it. So this is not an ecosystem which the automotive industry and the manufacturer is doing by itself. It's a complete ecosystem which will be built up by different parties and partners. And the automotive industry, for example, also from mapping, we are working also with different partners together, but the ecosystem needs to be built. Now, this is the timeline approximately when really we see, and also Roland Berger sees, that different stages are coming. We are now here, as you see, 2017 level 3. If you look at exit to exit, which means actually that the car can automatically exit a motorway, goes in and out of a motorway, then we see this would be happening in 2020. A fully automatic driving will come in 2025, maybe in the future. So the technology, as I said, is there. It will come, but it will still take a while till you can actually use it completely in a car. So all these leaps you will see from level 3 to level 4 is an amazing step within the automotive industry. And it will change actually everything, how we know today, how a vehicle is driving, and how you actually sit in future in the car. And it's great to be part of this, I have to say, to see actually this technology move now within the next 5 years. Ladies and gentlemen, that was a quick glance. I hope you got a little bit of an input about what Audi is doing, how we see the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Rene Koneberg. That's a wonderful presentation. Do we have time for Q&A? Oh, yeah. Rene, may I ask, I heard you got a really big booth in Hall 1 that's presenting the beautiful vehicles that's there, right?
Yes, correct.
Uh-huh.
Correct, yeah.
And the model's name is?
There's a Q2. We just launched a new Q2, so obviously you're more than welcome to come to our stand there.
Okay, so guests, please come to the Audi booth to see the fantastic vehicle. Any guests have a question to ask Mr. Rene? Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Rene.